TV look for the 27th of February 2022 on a Sunday at 3:30 or something p.m. Yeah, I did my video like last night, like right before I went to sleep. It was like, what was that, like 3 in the morning or something? I don't know, but yeah, I didn't have any trouble getting to sleep. That was nice. Laid on my belly and was just out. I took a shower first. That's definitely important. Sleep way better if you have a shower right beforehand. And then I like woke up. I think maybe my mom woke me up. No, that's not what happened. I think I woke up on my own, but I woke up kind of late, like 10 or 11, because I was up late. And I got stoned. Just like takes a while, and then I was working for a little bit, and then my mom called me and wanted to go on a hike, so we went on a walk up at Chautauqua, did a loop down the trail over at the amphitheater, and then went to, I told her we should go to Macy's because they're closing it soon to see what it looks like, see what they have. There are a bunch of people in there, but I tried to buy socks, but the line wasn't moving, so I just left it in there and we left. I just wanted to go in there and see what it looked like. Yeah, it's just about, they're selling just like the display stuff downstairs. But, then we went to Burger King, and then I came back here, and then I was working a little bit. Yeah, I was working a little bit, so the thing, I guess today will be my second full day of this breakaway thing. You know, because what I'm trying to do right now is link the Google Earth stuff that I've made onto my website, you know, without building new Google Earth stuff, because if I do that, it delays. And I can't delay too much because, like, my mom was giving me the 3rd degree today, and, like, she does that every time, you know, about, like, she's like, yeah, you need to start getting in shape, or, like, you know, get out there in the world, and that's, like, my solution, yeah, when I start, like, doing sports, like, riding my bike and stuff, what? Yeah. But, you know, I can't work on my website anymore when I do that, so I have to get to a stopping point. So I told her May 15th, and she's like, but she's yelling at me now, and I was like, oh, hey, how about if I just push it forward, like, to September or something, you know? And she's like, no. So I'm like, well, then May 15th, that's what you said before. So if I say May 15th, like, why would you bother me until then? You know? You'd wait until May 15th and then bother me after that. And then she goes, oh, I don't even care what you do anymore. And I'm like, what? So I guess that's where we left it. I guess she can't decide if she cares or not. So I guess next time she gives me the 3rd degree, I'll be like, okay, so do you care or do you not care? Anyways, but if I have to be done by May 15th, what is it? March, beginning of March, all of March, all of April. That gives me 2.5 months. All of March, all of April, March, April. 2.5 months. Gives me 2.5 months. I wanted to make sure, because serious. That's not that much time. So I can't go around like, you know, creating new things. This is kind of like falls under the category of creating something new, and But I'm like, fuck it, like it's important. At the end of the day, the website is going to take precedence over everything. So the thing today's my second full day is all of the bodies of water in Boulder County. I was saying this yesterday. There's like 1,500 of them. They have a number. The reason I got them was because the government, Boulder County, built it for something, for some whatever, but they didn't finish it. So I'm getting the numbers because they numbered them. They already numbered them. They traced them, and they even wrote the size of the lakes. So all I have to do is put the number and then copy and paste the size. So I have the number size, and then I have to do one more thing where I have to name them. I'm going to name them. Just basically a short description of their location. Lots of steps. This is what I was going to talk about, but I forgot to this morning because I was too tired. Because like one step, I had to number it. I had to click on it and see the number and I'll push it over here. Second step, I had to click it and then copy the size. That's what I'm doing now. Third step, I have to go and name the ones that aren't named, which is like 90% of them. Fourth step, I have to save them as KMZ files, Google Earth files on the computer. So 4 steps. Fifth step, I have to copy them, the ones that I saved, the name, copy that, then paste that onto my website. And I have to do, and then, what's that, 5 steps? And then 6th step, I have to bold all of the numbers. 7th step, that's the quickest step. 7th step, I have to change the font for the size, and then 8th step, I have to connect the link, which is going to take the most time because the computer's going to be slow because it's like such big, all those files in there. So that's 8 steps of 1,300. So 1,300 times 8. That's how many times I have to go through it, So, and I need to get done with that in like under a week, obviously. Just hopefully just in a few days before I start questioning myself, But, see, that's the issue. That's why I work the way that I work, is because I always do stuff until I question myself and then I bounce and I do something else. But every single time I do something, I try my hardest to finish it, and not just let it get out of control and have to bounce. And so far, I don't think I've actually finished anything. I think I have a 0% finish rate and a 100% bounce rate on every single thing that I've ever done. But as it's going, it's kind of like mining, You're in a gold, mining the gold, and the mine is going to run out one day, But it's like, well, it hasn't run out yet, but it's going to run out, so. But I guess with the mining, you want you don't want the mine to run out, but with the website, you do want it to run out so you can finish it. But it's better for me psychologically to have the attitude of the miner who doesn't want it to run out, I just want work, So, yeah, maybe by the end of the day, this is a lot longer step than just add the numbers. Yeah, maybe by the end of the day, I'll be done. Actually, I think, hopefully by the end of the day, I think so, but it'll be a long day. I'll have the size of all the lakes onto the Google Earth, and then so tomorrow I can name it, which is going to be like at least a full day project, just naming it. 2 days maybe. 2 days because it's going to the act of having to decide like what to name stuff and how to spell. I mean, that's so much thinking. It's going to slow me down enough, so that's going to be 2 days. But after that, if I can do that, like, see, that's still a big if. If I can do that, then it's like, oh, wow, okay. Super simple now. All I have to do, the quickest step is to create those Google Earth files because it's just save. Save. yeah, but then I'm going to be super tempted. It'll be like going downhill. I'll be super tempted at that point to just finish it up because all the steps after that are quick. So yeah. Anyways, I was just listening to Ukrainian invasion stuff. I haven't been able to back up and focus on like other stuff that I was like, oh, but when I do, I think I'm going to listen to the. I was listening to the Mueller report, but just due to the nature of the work that I'm doing, actually the work I'm doing now is pretty simple. So maybe it is a good time to try that. I'll listen to the Mueller report. You have to be able to lend attention to it. It's not like captivating. If I lose interest in that, I'm going to go back to Generations. I just finished that book, and I still have to finish Raw, but I'm not in any rush. I'm just captivated by Generations, 23-hour book, and it was made in like 1981. Neil Howe and Steven Strauss or whatever. Generations, and they're like for 23 hours, psychoanalyzing all of the different generations and cyclums, groupings of 4 generations since like 1450. I'm like, look at what? I'm gonna do that. That's a word that I use with kids. I'm gonna do that with ancient Rome, dude. That's the project that I do after this. But you know, it's actually, that project has actually fallen below the bicycle riding project. The only thing above bicycle riding right now is connecting the Google Earth, mainly because the Google Earth is like, the bicycling is dependent on the Google Earth around here. You know, like the whole Google Earth stuff of Boulder County, I'm doing it for the bikers because they're the people who are the only ones who are always traveling around, making a habit of traveling all over Boulder County. So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the priorities. Yeah. The only thing above it, like the biking, is actually above everything else. The generations, putting the generations on my timeline, and then putting the data points from the history book on the timeline too. At this point, but it's also a matter of if I have money. Like, I can't ride my bike. I'm not going to start to try to get in shape and stuff and ride my bike if I don't have a bike. I have like an indoor bicycle. I have an electric bicycle. I have my winter town bike, around town bike, my old 30-year-old mountain bike, and I got my summertime around the town bike, 30-year-old road bike to get to my mom's house in the summer and stuff, the store. I have a road bike for road rides, and I even have a time trial bike. But the road riding doesn't hold enough interest for me. Like, it doesn't bring me make me more priority for riding over the website. The website has more gravitational force. The only thing that's going to make the biking have more priority is if I have a mountain bike. And I mean like a modern mountain bike, not this old mountain bike I have. It's just, it requires a lot of work I don't really want to do on it. The derailleur, like, I think the chain needs to be replaced. The chain is always skipping. And the derailleur needs to be all cleaned and everything. And the cranks are creaking and about to fall off. And it's just an old bike, and I'm just not into it, you know? I mean, it's better to just wait and get a good bike. So, but I want to get the best bike. So, basically, I'm hoping that the time I can get a bike is going to coincide with the time I'll be wanting to be at a stopping point at the website. And maybe that'll be like magically coincide, you know? Like, my life has a way of different things magically coinciding like that. So I have to get out of debt, you know? But as long as I'm not in debt at all, I don't have a problem getting back in debt because I've gotten out of debt before. So all I have to do is get out of debt in order to be able to afford the bike with my credit cards. So, but I just blew like hundreds of dollars last night. Like, I'm afraid to look now. Like, I blew like $380, and then I spent like another couple $100 after that. Like, I'm afraid to look. Spent so much money last night. I was like delirious, tired. At the very end of the day, I did it. I was like, I, you know, how you get desperate. You think about something and you can't stop thinking about it, and then you just like, fuck it. That's how I am with my website, you know, with new projects. I was like, fuck it. I wanted to make a whole shelf, like an entire shelf load worth full, because I have shelving in my living room. It'd be a cool thing to put one of the shelves with all of the best historical movies, Blu-ray historical movies, because I have a 70-inch TV with surround sound and a Blu-ray player. I have an Xbox One, and I think that's just the coolest thing to have, especially if you're like, if you know a lot of people, if you have a lot of friends, because you can be like, hey, have you seen this movie? And then you can like loan your movies out to people. I'll ask my brother if he wants to like borrow the movies, because historical movies, man, are the best types of movies. In fact, at this point, because I'm such a busy person, it's the only type of movie that I even would watch at this point. And like, I'm watching historical TV shows and movies with Kirsten every night, and we're trying to do lots, like 2 or 3 episodes a night of just only the historical movies, you know, like we're going to do Underground Railroad, and the one about War for Independence, a mini series, and then like a movie about a Russian painter in the 1400s, and then all the different ones, like the new Vikings one, and it's but I'm not even watching those. Like, I'm just working on my computer the whole time and just listening to it. You know, if I want to see what's going on, all I have to do is turn my head, because my phone here is on the pole right here to the right. But like, when I watch the movie on Blu-ray with like all that quality on a 70-inch TV, I have to watch the movie, you know. So I can't watch the movie this way, with like, because I have no earphones that go with the Xbox, and I haven't figured out how to do it that way. I have the earphones connect to the TV. I only have the earphones connect to the Apple TV, and the Apple's not connected to the Xbox, so I have to do a surround sound, and I have neighbors who complain about the noise. So these movies are also perfect for when I start running, because I can watch a movie on my treadmill and watch a movie while I ride my bike. And if it's all those movies and TV shows with all those hours, it'll help me motivate to like train, you know, because I'll be like, because I would never allow myself to watch a show like that if I'm not training while I'm doing it, because I'd feel like that's just weak. I would never do that. But if I'm into the show, and you know, and then I have to run in order to watch the show, then I want to run anyway, you know, they just go together perfectly. Help motivate each other. And so, yeah, I just got all of the good ones, man. Like last night, I think I even talked about it last night, but a lot of them are really expensive, like $20. Like, I blew $22 on Marie Antoinette with Kirsten Dunst. That's the best Marie Antoinette movie. And like Versailles, that's one of the most interesting periods of history. And yeah, I just got everything, you know, all of it. Like, you name it, I got it. But I only got the historical ones. Like, no fantasy history, and also no like made up history, like fiction. If it was like, only if it was like, I got The Last Duel. That was expensive. That was like $25 I blew on DVD. The new movie that just came out, that Ridley Scott this year. I got that because that's a true story, an actual story. It's the actual Last Duel in France. So I got that, and you know, so it's like, it's a lot of movies that you can get, which is a lot of money, but it's a limited number of movies. It's probably something you could stick on one shelf, you know. So it'd be cool to have like Varsity Shelf, you know, like the shelf of historical movies, like, but it's like it's totally full. It can't take any more historical movies, but at the same time, there are no more historical movies. Like, it's literally every last worthwhile historical movie ever made. I even got a lot of the ones from like a long time ago, like 1950s and stuff and 60s. So, anyways, so that, kind of cut into my finances. So postpone the time I can get out of debt and then get the bike. So it's looking like maybe like after May. So like maybe May 15th comes around, and I'll be like, see, because if the website and the amount of money that I have are like magically like seem to be in lockstep with each other, then I will start feeling like I'm being guided by the gods, like I'll start like just following my fate. I'll be like, okay, then just wait until both of these guys magically, because then at that point I'll be curious. I'll be like, when is this going to happen? Like at what date, and how close is that date going to be when I'm at a stopping point on my website, which can be pinpointed down to a pretty specific date. It's just like you have to finish this. Okay, you have to finish this. Once you're done with something, you have to decide on something else, and you finish it so that you can stop at a specific date. And if that happens at the same like date that like, oh look, I'm out of debt, like at the end of the beginning of the month, like, like when is that, and is it going to happen at the same time, and so if May 15th comes around and I'm like, you know what, I'll probably be out of debt / at a stopping point on my website, even though they're not related, they are related magically. Like in like 2 months, I'll be like, fuck it then, 2 more months. And if my mom wants to bitch and moan, I'll just have to tell her. I'll just be like, listen, the magical wave hasn't hit the magical rocks yet. So, yeah, May 15th, if I had to put like a percentage of like the probability of if I'm going to be ready by May 15th in 2.5 months, it's like, whew, that's a good question, because I mean, on one side, maybe I will be close enough to out of debt, because I don't have to be actually out of debt, maybe close to out of debt. And it is kind of far in the future. Like maybe if I only focus on Google Earth, I will be at a stopping point. So let's say 50%, 50% chance on May 15th, and then a 50% chance on like the beginning of July, like postpone it like a month and a half. Yeah, but by the end of this year, before the end of this year, I'll be training, and I won't be really worried about the website that much, mainly because my mom is just applying too much pressure. And, I'm getting to the point where I'm able to block out the world and only kind of care about what my mom wants, And if that's what she wants, and even if it kills my website career, it's like, I don't give a fuck, because as long as she's not bitching. Because if she tells me, because this is the game she likes to play, and she does this every time. Like as soon as she gets her way and I start like riding my bike all the time, next thing she wants me to get a job, even if I don't need the money. And so then it's like, oh, so you didn't want me to ride my bike, you just wanted me to get out to be like normal. So as long as she doesn't play that game with me, and she's like, oh, wow, how's the writing? Oh, it's so awesome, you don't have to work and you don't need money. That's so awesome, that you can, and it's not even that expensive. I'm stockpiling my electrolyte packets and goos right now, because I had a false start a couple months ago. Like in October, I thought I was going to do it, and I did it for 6 days until I had insomnia and couldn't sleep one night, and I was like, I should just be working on the website, because I don't have insomnia work or website. You just work, and then you pass out, and then you wake up and work. And but it doesn't work that with cycling, because you have to follow the day. You can't be nocturnal, especially me in an apartment, because my neighbors complain about noise. So oh man, what the fuck was I talking about? Anyway, oh yeah, like what so anyway, if I'm not making any progress with my website, and my mom's like, oh, that's so awesome that you're writing all the time and you don't have to work. Oh, that's so fucking cool. Oh yeah, what I was saying was like I got on the goo, and I got the goo like to be delivered regularly because you get the discount, and so I'm just letting it come in every month. I'm just making a big old pile of goo because that energy goo that you take on your bike rides, which was only existed a few years ago, like didn't even exist when I was a kid. Like we had to eat power bars, and I remember when power bars existed. Like most of the time when I was a kid riding, you would eat bananas and trail mix. But but oh my God, keep losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, I bought some of that like a few years ago, like 2013. I don't know when the fuck it was. 2017. It was 2017. I think it was 2017. And then I didn't eat it, and then I just finished it up for the last of it, just like last year, 21. So it lasted 4 years, dude, and it was still good. That stuff lasts forever. It's like the ultimate food, and it's got calories. Like seriously, like what I want to do when I'm like old one day, just for fun, just because I'm curious as fuck, is to just like go hiking, like light packing, just like me and my little tent and my little like water filter, and go up in the mountains here and just hike all over the mountains, like, and not go back to civilization, but eat nothing but that energy goo. Like, so you literally don't cook. You're literally, all you do is just running around the mountains, and then like until you get tired, and then you fall asleep, and then you get up and do it again. But there's no eating because you're just eating as you're running along. And like, and the thing is like, so the curious thing is like, how long? I'm just out of curiosity, how long could you do that? Like carry as much as you could haul with the weight. So at the beginning, it's like all this weight. You're like a Roman soldier hauling like, they hold 60 pounds, maybe be like 100 pounds, right? And you're just like, oh God. And they're like, what's wrong with you, dude? People walking by, and you're like, oh man, I brought too much camping equipment. I don't know. Or you could tell them what you're really doing. Look at all these goos. I don't want to show them the goos because they'll be like, give me one. But I'll be like, yeah, see how long I can be up here. And dude, you could be up there all goddamn summer. You could literally be up there for like 3 months, just with the food you have with you. Now, is that healthy? I mean, I know it has a lot of sodium and stuff, but if you're sweating it out, I guess it's healthy. And hell, there's another science experiment. Is it healthy? So yeah, that goose stuff fascinates the hell out of me. That's like another reason why I want to get into endurance sports. Because the whole concept, see, that's the reason people do stuff in the first place. It's because the whole concept fascinates them, That's why older people like my age don't really do fun stuff, because it's just not interesting anymore. People get bored. They fail to see the wonder, like that part of your brain dies or something, and you're only you only see the wonder in like growing your own thing, like growing your fortune or whatever, I don't know, or your hobby, but it's all in the fascination, like people get into skydiving because they're fascinated by the idea that you can jump out of a plane, or rock climbers are fascinated that you can go up a rock, like in that trippy, so like, yeah, I mean, I was kind of maybe lost my fascination with like riding and getting fit and stuff, but it was replaced by the fascination, or I'm replacing it by the fascination of traveling around and reliving history through the area you live in, and also like just the whole logistics, because like this is all new, Maybe if I'd grown up with goos and like nice bikes and GPS and Google Earth, I wouldn't be so interested in doing it again now. But since none of that existed then, it's like brand new. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. It's like, oh, this is cool. And maybe even more so now than like young kids now who've only saw it. I'm like more like amazed by it. But like airplanes existed when I was born, and I was looking at an airplane today, and I was mentioning to my mom, I'm like, aren't airplanes freaking trippy? Like, if you tell somebody 100 years ago that at any given moment in 100 years there'd be like thousands of these giant buses up in the sky traveling 500 miles an hour, travel anywhere in the world you want to go, it's like, what? It's like, what kind of crazy ass gifts does God have in store for us? how easy is it like for us to just manipulate? So yeah, I'm like super interested about that, the goos. So yeah, anyways, I'm stockpiling my goos, and but you know what? I don't really care. Yeah. So I'm gonna get going back to work. Maybe smoke a little bit more reefer, and listen to, I guess, more of the Ukraine war, and maybe get going on the Generations book as I keep putting the sizes of these lakes, every single lake in the Boulder County. Now, the cool thing, the reason that I'm doing this is because the government already built it, right? So they already named it. So I don't have to think. All I have to do, I already know the numbers, right? So if I know the numbers and I know how many there are from the numbers, because after I do this, I'm going to duplicate the folder and then make the folder alphabetized so that you see the numbers down. I make sure that all the numbers are down and just make sure that they organized it in a way that makes sense, where the ones that are in the same area, numbers of areas, are in the same physical areas. And if it's doable, which I hope to God it is, and even if it's not, I'll probably do it anyway and be like, these fucking idiots, if they're gonna, it's their fault. But yeah, hopefully it'll make sense, and that yeah, and then I would just pre-create the tables to put it in because I know the numbers, and then I don't even have to put them in. I just plump them in one after the other, without even thinking, which is perfect for listening to books. I love those kinds. Like, I'm looking forward to that also because like it's such simple mind-numbing work that it's not so mind-numbing that, see, the work that you don't want to do is where you have to lend a certain amount of your memory to the work. You have to remember numbers and stuff, and it takes your concentration away from something you're listening to, so you're not learning anything. You're just having to remember numbers, and that'll make your brain go numb and fucking make you stupid. And I suffer from that a lot. Like, I don't know nearly as much about history as I would if I was just listening to history books all day long riding my bike. It does kind of cut into my ability to do so much. But if the work is so goddamn simple, where it's just drag, drop, like where it's so simple that if I make a mistake and I start putting it in the wrong place for whatever reason, like a little glitch, like I won't even notice it. Like, it'll be like an hour will go by, and if I've done that a bunch of times, and I'm like, oh shit, I put those in the wrong, and I have to like redo it, and like, this is an hour work. But that's what I mean. Like, that kind of work is the best work, because you can just be like, tune out, go into what is the parasympathetic system of your brain, and just drag, drop, and you're focusing all of your concentration on the book, like just as much concentration on a book as you would if you're on a bicycle ride. That's actually a good comparison. Like, the amount of concentration you need to like look at the trail and look where you're going, and concentrate on riding hard and all that, is probably about the same amount of brain power as it would take to like drag and drop from this to this to this, so you could lend about the same amount of your brain to what you're listening to. So anyway, so yeah, hopefully I can get that soon. So I'm gonna hopefully finish these sizes of them now. Okay. Ooh, this is over a half hour. Talk to tomorrow.